if you're going to start taking out infrastructure items in Russia, what's Putin going to do? What's he going to authorize going in America behind the scenes? And by the way, we live in a glass house. As that ship in Baltimore showed you, one little whack. Do you know that that was more economically damaging to America than the Twin Towers and Building 7, by the way? Let us not forget. Hello, is everybody paying attention? 2 airplanes, 3 buildings. And by the way, Building 7 was a 50-story megalith. How did it go down? What was the mechanism that made that happen? Who was planning that behind the scenes so they could get Homeland Security put in place to lock us down? But with that mindset, we come back to these people that by plan have been filtered into America all through our society. What are they capable of? What minor things can they do? And who's pulling the strings? Is it Putin? Is it Xi? Is it North Korea? Is it just terrorists? Is it some elite secret handshake crowd who wants America out of the way? When they strike, every one of them will be out of the dark. You didn't see it coming. It'll be in a way you didn't see coming, just like 9/11. You see it coming the day before. Were you worried about it?
Not at all.
We don't know precisely what one they'll play next because they have a lot up their sleeve. But there's going to be several. It won't be one thing. It's like when you're taking out a building, which is what they really want to do, this home that we call America. They want to take out all the structural supports. And so they're drilling holes in the foundation of America. They're drilling holes in the beams and structures. They're putting explosives in there. And when they act, when the devil pulls the cord, when he hits the button, it will take out infrastructure in a way that makes it hard for America to function and move on. It'll be like you have lead in your tennis shoes and worse. And ultimately into that near-death experience where you can't move your body. You're outside of the realm of the physical. And the only real way that America gets through this in the end is a divine intervention, in my opinion. And I think everybody's going to feel it, know it by the end. They will realize that had not the hand of God himself moved into the situation and protected and blocked what was intended for us, we would not make it through. Everybody in this audience, I think, in large measure, has probably had an experience where they were an instant from some horrible calamity or death. And seemingly miraculously, the hand of God, an angel, an intervention occurred, and you were just in exactly the right place out of sequence at the moment the bullet was fired. The car dodged and missed you. The ice catapulted you one way and not the other. That's the way it's going to be for the whole country. And I think we'll have a collective sense of that on the far side of it. There'll be many that'll be inured to it. They won't want to see it that way. They will want to be blind that God had anything to do with saving America at the precipice. In fact, they'll have all sorts of reasons why it wasn't God and it was a man or whatever. But I think that for those that are looking at all, the vast majority are going to see what happens next over the remainder of this year as a hand of God moment to spare us from some imminent destruction that was headed our way.
Well, that's the reason we call it a spiritual battle between good and evil, driven right home there just now. Those of us of faith continue to pray. And Juan, I want to ask you a few questions I jotted down prior to turning this camera on. Questions that people are asking of me. with the hopes that many others may have these questions and we can bring this across as well. Are there any, and I realize, intel and analysis, how much can we put our finger on precisely? Only God knows. But in your wisdom and experience and the information you have and your opinion, are there any particular states or cities, like you talked about multiple different methods and different things that will come upon us, infrastructure hits and so forth. Uh, are there any particular states or cities that you would be willing to comment on that you would have greater concern of these attacks than others? Will there be geographical areas that'll be hit harder or in different ways than others? And what would the recovery periods be back to some level of normalcy in these particular areas?
Well, I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not Kim Clement, but I don't think you have to be either to understand that the policies of especially the mayors and governors in certain regions and states have laid the groundwork for much of the lawlessness and inviting in and making sanctuary of certain places for both illegal and for legal mischief. You can look at the event involving BLM and the other
Antifa.
similar groups, Antifa and other similar groups.
Mhm.
You can look at their activities and where they were allowed to run amok and anticipate that they'll be the places that's going to happen again. They haven't gotten reined in, so they'll, you sow the wind, you'll reap the whirlwind.
All right. Thank you very much, Juan. And again, to support Juan's efforts, be sure to visit thejennifermack.com. You'll have a lot of fun there, and you'll see President Trump signing the Magador jacket that I think was a piece of art or framed or something of the sort. Go check it out, thejennifermack.com. Now, what I'd like to do before I close out this broadcast today, I'd like to take a look at some Facebook images for fun, inspiration, and insightful moments. Let's put up the first image. I pull these off of Facebook. Here we go. I just love this. You remember Raging Bull? How about Raging Bullshit? Okay, there you go. It's not a TKO. It's just a hardcore knockout as soon as the bell rang. Thank you very much. Next image. They turned us against each other to distract us from turning against them. Move on, please. Our government is backwards. We are private citizens. The government should know nothing about us. They are public servants, and we should know everything about them. Next image. Keanu Reeves, good actor, seemingly a wonderful guy. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. Next image. Good evening. Here's what we'd like you to believe today. I like that one. How true is that? When government takes away citizens' rights to bear arms, it becomes citizens' duty to take away government's right to govern. General George Washington, President George Washington. Next image. The elderly are useless eaters. We've heard that. There you have it. Another one gone, thank goodness. Henry Kissinger. Them. Show me proof. Us. We send proof. Them. You're a conspiracy theorist. You've all experienced this. Next image. We live in a world where the intelligent must keep quiet so that the stupid will not be offended. Next image. The poorest person is not the one without money. It is the one without God. So true. Next image. My object in life is to dethrone God and destroy capitalism. Well, there you have it. Karl Marx. Next image. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Martin Luther King. Very powerful words and very true. Let us heed the call as De Niro's hate uh, was displayed. We won't hate back. Just be busy and be effective. Next. 5D consciousness is pure love. It doesn't need to argue of the duality mind. Great stuff. Next image. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democrat answer, but the right answer. President John F. Kennedy. Next image. I think this concludes this. In reality, they're not after me. They're after you. And America, and Trump is just in the way. It's very concerning what happened last week. 34 felony counts. We know it's rigged. We have the last laugh. We are in charge. God is in charge. Don't panic. Stay calm and watch the movie play out. Protect your family and be ready. We are at war and living now in a post-constitutional tyrannical government that over the years has been taken over by both foreign and domestic enemies on our watch. This spiritual battle rages on. It's good versus evil. It's either us or them. And this one is, for the old expression, those my age, all the marbles. It's for all the marbles. In the end, we win and they lose. So unite in truth, not in politics nor religion, and then fight for what's right as though your life depends on it. Why? Because it does. We are at the cusp of biblical events that will rock the rafters of this world. So confront it, let the ways of our past go, and be prepared physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially for the imminent wave of attacks I've been talking about on multiple fronts as this war intensifies. Pray. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And embrace the truth and help to create a new world, because that's where we're heading, folks. One that God intended for us all. We are on God's side, and God always wins. Free will? Use it wisely. Do your part. Because when your children and grandchildren ask you, what were you doing when the global governance was being thrust down the collective throat of America and the world? What will your answer be? Freedom. It's up to us. So I'll see you back here the first Friday of each month, 6 p.m. Eastern, on johnmichaelchambers.com and my Rumble channel. And don't forget, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, John and Juan Intel and Insights for weekly updates. We've got a new website coming up July 1st, your information war portal, your one-stop shop for everything you need by the hour. This is John Michael Chambers speaking with his voice. Please speak with your voice and stay safe, and may God be with you.